today our training will be on budgets. You'll be able to find your budget module here on the left hand side, and it's normally the fourth one down, and if you click on this, that will take you to our different functionalities. Now the information we're going to be covering you'll be able to find under help and contents, or even by clicking F1 that will also bring you to our True ERP wiki page. And if you scroll down all the way to training, click on training and then highlight more detail, and once again find budgets, you'll be able to go ahead, this one is number 23, and see all the information we're going to be covering today. So these are the questions we're going to be covering. Alright, well let's go ahead and get started. Now the first thing we need to do whenever we are creating a budget is we have to define your budget. So here under budget definition, let's go ahead and create one together. Alright, so click on budget definition, and in this case I'd like to name my budget sales versus let's just say expenses. Okay, and let's keep the description just the same. Okay, the start date, you would have to choose your start date. In this case I'll just choose a few months before, so we'll start on July 1st, and you'll also have to choose your periods. Now I'd like to go ahead and choose 12 periods. Now the periods can be either days, weeks, month, quarterly, yearly, half yearly, or yearly. In this case I'll just choose my periods to be monthly periods, so I'll have 12 months versus 12 days. Okay, so that's basically what you're choosing here. So in this case we're going to do 12 months of budget, just like so. It automatically populates that end date for you, which is wonderful. Here you'll be able to go ahead and choose a particular description. So you have two different budgets. In this case I'm going to leave it the same. Alright, we have two different amounts. You can name this whether it's aggressive or conservative. You can really name it anything you'd like. In this case I'll leave it the same. Alright, so we have one aggressive budget and we have one conservative budget. And then right here below you'll be able to go ahead and select which departments you want this budget to apply to. And in this case we'll do two different departments, just like so. And once you've done this, we have now defined our budget. So now you would click Save. Once you click Save, it's going to bring you to a different budget screen. Now this budget screen is only covering one period, as you can see here. Okay, it shows you your start date of your budget as well as your end date, and it also shows you the month start and end month date. Okay, as you can see this is only a monthly. Okay, just like so. So now all you need to do is choose the accounts you want to work with. So in this case let's just choose a couple simple accounts. So let's do sales. And I'll go ahead and choose telephone account. Sure, why not? You can really choose any one of these accounts, entirely up to you. And go marketing. How about advertising? Perfect. Okay. Now if you were using, in this case we're only going to use our accounts, but if you were going to go ahead and use or budget your jobs, you can do so as well. So here you'd be able to choose your job name. In this case we're not going to be budgeting any jobs, we're just going to do our accounts. So I'm going to click this button here to basically hide the jobs. Okay? Now we're ready to go ahead and fill out the amounts of what we're actually going to budget. So for our sales, there we go. So for our sales, I'd like to budget $10,000. That's aggressive. And again, for telephone, we'd like to spend $200. And advertising, we're going to go ahead and put $1,000 there. Okay. And you want to fill this all the way across the board. So that was the aggressive for Hawaii. Now you just need to do the same thing, aggressive for your default company. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill this all the way across the board. Okay, as you can see, I've went ahead and filled it all the way across the board. My aggressive and my conservative numbers. It also totals your numbers here on the right hand side. It also gives you the individual totals here in the bottom. So really easy stuff to do here. Now the next thing you need to do, mind you, this is only one period. Keep that in mind. Now what we'd like to do is go ahead and do one of two things. We can either go to the next period, which would be, let's just say month 2, or we can copy to all periods. Now if you go to next period, you would have to do exactly what we did here, which is fill in the numbers one by one. Now you can also copy to all periods, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here. So we're just going to click copy to all periods. And here you can use a budget variation, meaning if you'd like the budget that you just created to increase or decrease by a certain dollar amount or percentage, you'd be able to do that here. So again, you can increase or decrease your budget that you created with a particular dollar amount or percentage, and by defining that in this screen here. Now in this case, I don't want to change any variations. I don't want to go ahead and make any changes, so I'm going to go ahead and click copy. And what it's doing now is it's copying this exact budget all the way across by 12-month period. Okay, so now to go ahead and see those budgets, it's really simple. You would click on budget list, just like so. And what I'm doing, or what I need to do now, is just go ahead and adjust my dates a little bit. Okay, so that we'll be able to, there we go, see the budgets that I actually created. Okay, now as you remember, we actually did this sales versus expenses. So here's my 12 periods right here, okay, that you can see right here. So if you wanted to make any changes, you can just double click on these, and again you can make the changes here. Okay, if you don't need to make any changes, no problem. So you can choose any one of these periods that you see here and make any changes that you choose to do so. Alright, so again, this is your budget list. Next thing we're going to do is go ahead and show you what the budget variation does. Now again, if you don't want to make your changes here under the budget list, you can do it under budget variation. So if you click on budget variation, just like so, here you choose the budget that you want to change. There we go. And in this case, I was working with my sales versus expenses, so we'll choose that. We want to go ahead and choose the action, so in this case we want to change, or we can even copy this budget for any other future budgets. In this case we just want to change that existing one. Alright, and we choose for a period or a particular budget. So in this case I want to choose a period, and here we're going to choose the period that we'd like to change. I'd like to go ahead and just change period 5. Okay, so that's our November date, and I think in November I'm actually going to do a little bit less, so I'm going to choose decrease by a percentage. Okay, just like so, and I'm gonna do that 10%. Now I can choose my accounts, or I can go ahead and just make the change on all accounts. In this case, I'll go ahead and just make the change on all accounts, just like so. Okay, so again, I'm going to decrease my budget by a percentage of 10%, and we click apply, and it's already made that change. So if I were to look for my budget on my budget list here, let me just once again expand my dates so I can find that. Alright, and I believe that was number 5. Let's double click in here. Now we're actually able to see here that my budgets have actually changed, and it's decreased by 10%. Mind you, if you remember, we actually had 10,000 here, okay? But now that I've done that budget variation, it's actually decreased. So really, really great things. Simple way to create and change your budgets on the fly. really great. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're now going to show you how to actually run your budget with your profit and loss. So that's this button here, okay? So if you click this, this is your profit and loss report. Okay, now you're going to have to choose which dates you actually want to see this on. Now in this case, once again, I'm going to go ahead and just backdate this just a couple dates here, just like so. And now I'm going to choose the budget I want to see. And I'm going to look for that budget that I just created, which is sales versus expenses. And we're going to refresh this. And here is our budget with our profit and loss, okay? So here we can see that we've actually used our sales, and here's our variance. Now if you don't want to see that variance, you can just click on that, but in this case we do want to see our variance. So you can see here that we're on some negatives on some of our companies here, okay? So once again, you would just scroll to the right, and you would be able to see your budgets, your actuals versus budgets on your profit and loss reports, and you'd see your variance there. Okay, now if you want to see further, you'd have to expand your dates right here on your right hand side. Alright, so let's close that out. So that's how you run your budget with your profit and loss. See? Alright, so let's go and close that out. Next thing is that you'll actually be able to see your chart of accounts list for your budgets. So again, you'll be able to see here what accounts you're running your budgets on. So in this case, these particular accounts have budgets on them. What's the balance or the total balance and the type? So again, if you want to see which accounts that have budgets, you'd be able to pull that up with this button that you see here. Next thing is your budget versus actual. Alright, so let me just... Here is where we'll actually be able to see the account type, the account name, and the actual that's in the account. So if we want to choose a budget, once again, we would just need to choose a particular budget that we would like to see. And now it's actually going to populate your aggressive and your conservative amounts. Okay. Now once again, we're gonna have to scroll just a little bit lower here. There we go, because here we have an advertising expense, and these are the budgets that I put on them. So here we have your aggressive variation as well as your conservative variations, just like that. And again, if we scroll down, we have our sales. So again, we'll see our variations here as well. Okay. So again, really simple. Now, you'd be able to do this with a job report as well. Now, in this case, we actually don't have any jobs that we actually created, or we didn't create any jobs, but you'd actually be able to choose the jobs you would like to see and pick a particular budget for that job, and it will do exactly the same thing that we did for your budget versus actual. So this one would be job report, budget versus actual. All right. Well, I hope that all made sense. This is your budget training, and again, that if you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call. Thank you very much, and have a great day.